Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have never been with us for one of our Hot Take, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement and we like to give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a game, and that game is The Outer Worlds 2. My name is Anthony Ragucci, and here to discuss, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Gooch, I had a Spacer's Choice reference lined up, and it just like completely went out of my head. So, how are you, my friend?
Didn't you
How's
say it to me when I was in the chair?
Yeah, it's not the best choice. I was like, what the fuck is the thing? I just had it. But anyways, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing well. This is our first podcast of 2026.
Happy New Year, y'all.
Unintentionally, this is supposed to be our last podcast of 2025, but that's all right. We're doing it before our game of the year, so we're getting the last review in, and then we're going to coast right into talking about our games of the year.
So that is
on this session right now.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
So that's the last game of 2025 that we're playing, really? That we're reviewing? I guess that is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Because it did slow down really heavily in December and all that for the most part.
In like October, it slowed down.
There wasn't anything in November, really? I'm trying to think.
No.
Wow. Anyways.
Yeah.
It felt like we were drowning there for a while.
It was that
so it's hard to
August,
not think.
September, October period that was really heavy. That's when The Outer Worlds 2 came out. And then November, December, pretty much almost nothing.
That's right, because this kind of Outer Worlds finished it off, right? So that does make sense. Interesting. Well, it's nice to not be drowning in games anymore.
Yeah, but you finished this game first quite a little bit ago.
I did.
So is it all right if we start with you? What did you
course.
think about Obsidian's latest outing?
So, Gooch, after a little bit of a disappointing beginning to the year for Obsidian for me with Avowed, I'm happy to say that I think Outer Worlds 2 is a severe step up from Outer World 1's in a lot of ways, as far as perfecting its systems and making the world feel a bit more fleshed out and interesting. And, we're in a new galaxy. We're away from, Halcyon. Now we're in Arcadia.
Yes.
Which is the home of the Protectorate, which is like this dictatorial type government that made the slip drives, apparently, that everyone uses to traverse throughout the universe. So that's really cool. I think there's a lot of very cool layers to the lore in this one that I appreciate. I still don't know if I'm sold on the overall world design. Like, just this, like, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? What is Art Deco, futuristic, like, almost Futurama style to everything, where I'm like, oh, that suit looks cool. But then another suit shows up, and I'm like, I don't like that at all. It just looks silly and weird. A lot of the helmets remind me of almost, like, why am I, Spaceballs. Like, just kind of out there, silly, like, really huge helmets. I don't know. I think overall, I do enjoy the aesthetic, but there are times where I'm questioning it, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel.
I know what you feel. I feel like the gimmick sometimes becomes old, and I want to get to that point later on, but I want to make sure you're...
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Other than that, though, I think it's a really well done and fun RPG that is still missing some of the accoutrements that I feel like I would expect out of a AAA studio, especially when it comes to, like, I don't know, like a lock-picking minigame, and even the way you explore the world feels a little...
Stilted?
Yes, absolutely stilted. And there's not many options when it comes to even, like, dungeon play, and, like, you have these places that you need to go on the map that are very spelled out, but I don't know, I could drone on a little bit here, Gooch. What about you? What did you think?
Yeah, I started off high, and I think within the last 10 to 20 hours, I feel like I fell off a cliff.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I while I was wrapping up my journey, I think the end is quite worse than the beginning. I feel like the way the game ends is kind of like a slow deflating balloon. And that balloon was a pretty cool balloon, but now it's deflating and it's kind of lame. I didn't really love the end or the story or the world, but I did like the RPG of it. I really don't. The Outer Worlds is finally to me showing its colors, and I really don't think it's. There's a lot of disconnect. So if you're asking, hey, do I need to play the Outer Worlds 1 to play Outer Worlds 2? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like in the most. I would hold you down and say that to you. There's no connection to the first game. And I think that's kind of a problem.
Okay.
Like, the world, besides Auntie's Choice, that's a pullover company from the first game. You still don't need to know that. But it feels like I feel like I don't understand the world. What the fuck is the Earth Directorate? And what do they do? What's going on with Earth? Why did they send you here? And you don't have that answer by the end of the game. I feel like I'm asking questions and wondering things that I feel like by a second game, I should be kind of getting a better sense of
about the like grander
this
world.
universe.
Yeah,
and what's going on in it. Because Arcadia and Halcyon feel like two separate games.
Right.
They don't feel like they have, like, there's no acknowledgement of Halcyon ever. The board, Spacer's Choice is the only thing that is acknowledged from the first game. And I just feel like I'm like, am I missing something? Am I like,
well, they do, you can talk to the characters, right? And they explain what happens like with the other colony and what happens with Auntie's Choice, like taking over Spacer's Choice.
Yeah,
and, like,
they get into that. They get into that, but it's just like there's like, remember the board from the first game? Like I just feel like there's a lot from that game that it's almost like just tossed in the trash. Like we're not even going to talk about it. Like, but like,
interesting, yeah.
It does all that stuff from Halcyon not affect everything else? And like, I understand like from what I understood about Arcadia, the Protectorate and the Order seemed like newer factions. I couldn't really get a gauge on how long they've been there. Like, it's definitely hasn't been 200 years, but it's probably been like 60 to 70 to 80 years, something like that.
So for me, I will admit that stuff felt relatively spelled out to me. Like I was not necessarily how long the Protectorate had been around, but they felt like they had been around for a while. They had apparently invented the split slip space drives that everyone uses throughout the universe. Skip, thank you.
Yeah.
Which
is not true.
Yeah, which ends up being not true. But that's so who ends up who ends up making them again? That's where I lost the minutia.
Yeah.
I feel like the overall plot.
Good question.
I did mostly understand like you're part of the Earth Directorate. You're sent there because the skip drives,
are creating the rifts.
Are creating these rifts that are basically creating black holes that are, causing destruction, and you are sent there as the Earth Directorate to see what's going on and figure that out, and then kind of things play out from there. But I agree with you in the way of like it doesn't really reference the first game, because the first game they haven't heard from Earth in like a long time. Right?
I remember that specifically
it's based
being laid
around
out.
the idea that they're running out of food and they can't sustain themselves in that colony, I believe, and like they can't grow food that they can eat.
Right.
And
yeah,
then like
exactly.
you don't even know if the Earth is around. You're sending a message. So in that regard, it reminds me more of like an Elder Scrolls, where it's like you don't like there are some mentions of what happened in this other game. You don't need to play that
like,
at all. And then
I
just
think
come
about
in
it
and
as
play
you're
this.
walking around Skingrad or Riverwood or something like that. Like people are talking about the world like it is in fact a world. They're referencing things, maybe not things you have a bunch of context for, but it does feel like a world.
Yeah.
I feel like Obsidian has really failed to create that world in a meaningful way. I know it's there,
Right.
But they're not telling me it's there.
Sure.
And like I don't think they care in Outer Worlds 2 that it was there. It doesn't really matter right now. All that matters is what's going on in Arcadia.
Right.
Which I do find the factions really compelling. They are kind of gimmicky. We're talking about the gimmick of the Outer Worlds, and it's really this like capitalistic kind of like, it's not even like Fallout. It's actually begun to differentiate itself from Fallout. I think
it was even like severely like in the way of like it's this hyper capitalistic society to this like insane degree. But I'm sorry.
Yeah. And the factions all kind of have their gimmick. Auntie's Choice being the capitalists, the Order being sort of these like Scientologists,
like religious type faction. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And they use like predictions that they found out through math and science to predict what's going to happen.
They need the great equation.
Who split from the Protectorate, and then we have the Protectorate who, like you said, they're like a dictatorial, like
fascist regime.
Yeah, and they're very.
We run every aspect of your life, right?
And you have to be thinking like us, and if you don't think like us, you get sent to mental refreshment.
Right.
And hopefully, after you come out, you're thinking like us again, so you can come back into society and be a lawful Protectorate.
Who is the king again? Or who is like what's the guy's name? Like what's the title that they give him?
Oh yeah, not Primarch.
Something like that. Anyway, there's like a king figure that he is the will. That's it.
And he's descended from a royal family
who supposedly created the skip drive. And like again, I think there's some
factions are awesome.
I think there's some cool lore in there, and I will admit, like I didn't find it as like empty in that respect for me. As like I felt like I was hearing these conversations going around, like hearing NPCs talk about things going on in the world. Not nearly, I think, to the degree of like a Fallout, or even like I have been playing New Vegas again, and I gotta say, playing that as a point of differentiation, going from that to that, from New Vegas to Outer Worlds, it is kind of wild to see how much their design philosophy has changed. And, you know, I think they aped a lot off of Bethesda because for obvious reasons. They're making a Bethesda-style game. But I just would like to see some of those, like, Bethesda-style accoutrements in their games, like when it comes to their dungeons and things like that. But I don't know. I
think this is my last straw for Obsidian. I think I would like to believe they're capable of making a better game than what Outer Worlds 2 is. And it's not to say that Outer Worlds 2 is a shit game. I think it's a very good RPG with an okay story and an okay world with some pick and choose really good parts.
That will get you through it, for sure.
But I don't understand how still Obsidian games feel like this really AA offering. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I just feel like Obsidian is at a different caliber. All we talk about is Fallout New Vegas, and I feel like we are getting the point where we need to stop acting like Fallout New Vegas was like the second coming of Christ, because they're not making games to that quality caliber. And like you just said, they were aping off of Bethesda's formula, maybe success even.
I will say, but like I will say, going back to like New Vegas, like it's a well thought out RPG with many factions that you can side with and many different endings. Like, I don't know. I think that does come from Obsidian. And again, these are like the Ship of Theseus things. Not all the same people who are at Obsidian when New Vegas came out are still there, and vice versa, and all that stuff. I know they still have a few of the very big main head guys. Josh Sawyer and all that. I don't
think he worked on Outer Worlds 2 or Outer Worlds 1 at all.
I don't think so either.
Whatever he's working on is whatever Tim Kaine was hired to work on.
Right.
So he's back at Obsidian. And he worked on Outer Worlds 1, and he essentially like retired, and he's now back
out of retirement. Yeah, I don't know. It does feel like, again, you're trying to grasp something that was long forgotten, and you know, there's a part of nostalgia to that. It's always going to feel nice to go back and play a game or watch a movie that you loved and get those rose-colored glasses on, but it really just does blow my mind that there are certain things that this game is missing, like I brought up that lock-picking mechanic, that they just haven't invested the time in, and that layer, Gooch, to me, does make it feel more AA.
Exactly.
Those are those little accoutrements that make it, and they're like, you know, we're not as big of a studio as Bethesda. We're not going to, and I'm like, I get that, but like, you have the resources of fucking Microsoft.
Right.
You guys can't, it kind of does blow my mind that you can't make like, not a Bethesda level RPG, but a New Vegas level RPG to a degree. And it's not to say you're going to hit the exact like feeling for me, but you can hit some of the accoutrements that I would like to see. And I don't know. It does feel a little half-baked in certain respects.
Let's take a step back.
Yeah.
I rewatched our Outer Worlds 2 review, our Outer Worlds 1 review.
When did that come out?
2019.
Wow.
It felt like we were different people.
I'm sure.
I have to give ourselves maybe a pat on the back. We are much better at this than we were in
that's what I mean.
Dude, fact that was 7 years ago. Oh my God. Yeah. So I was listening to it, and I was like actually shocked about how general and surface level that review was.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember like our big thing was it was okay. And I would say, I think I've said that recently, probably within the last year, about the Outer Worlds. But I'm like, okay, when we do this level, I I just want to make sure it's not super general, which I don't think it's going to be. But let's start at the character customization, because I was really high on the character customization.
Sure.
One of the things I invested in was observation, and I ended up being pretty disappointed by investing into that. I feel like observation only happened a few times with some hidden doors and passageways, and most of observation is like mines. And I didn't really feel like that skill like
was
panned out super well.
Yeah.
But I did one thing. If you've never played the Outer Worlds 2 and you're going in and you're listening to our review, invest in like 3 skills and mainline.
And yeah.
You have to. And I think the game is a better experience if you do. I mainlined speech, melee, and guns.
I did science, speech, and medical, I think.
Okay, we went pretty different routes.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with the melee. I'm not going to lie. I played on very hard. By the way, I had a bug that I mentioned this when it happened, but I got put down to normal. And then I put it back up, so I lost my achievements for very hard, and I was like, whatever, like I'm gonna play this game again.
I will
but it was
say
just really annoying.
The difficulty
That's
balancing.
the only bug.
Yeah, sure.
That's the only bug I ran into.
That's good.
Yes, talk about the difficulty.
The difficulty balancing feels very off in this. And even more
horrible.
Again, I am gonna bring up New Vegas here again, because like going back, I felt like I remembered that balancing being really bad. and I'm playing it on hard
Yeah.
now.
Is it?
And
I would
it's-
say that too.
And it's not as bad as I feel like Outer Worlds was, especially coming out of the gate of like, I was getting rocked on normal, even on like with high leveled armor, and I'm like, am I under leveled right now? And like,
that's good balancing.
Like, do you think that's if I'm getting destroyed?
If normal is like difficult, I think that's good.
But it wasn't. It was so difficult to the point where I couldn't play. Like I was just getting fucked up in every battle
like
where I was
Cat.
like, I pushed it down to easy. Like
so
I
wait,
wasn't.
you're talking about New Vegas.
No, I'm talking about Outer Worlds.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were talking about New Vegas.
New Vegas, I was on hard, and I felt like that was good. It felt right.
Okay.
But for Outer Worlds, I was on normal, and I was getting my shit rocked.
That's interesting to hear because I would enter a battle dead. And
Yeah.
I mean, like I couldn't see where a shot.
That's
came
what I
from.
mean, yeah.
Like I would literally two shot and I would die
Right.
instantly. And I was like, and this is on very hard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like what is going on? The shield ability, I want to talk about that system because much more refined
For sure.
and better, but like, you know,
slow-mo, too,
What,
yeah.
what is that system called?
I don't know. It's like a
Gadgets.
personal shield. Yeah, the gadget system. Yeah,
I love how it's more than just the time manipulation thing, which the VAT system, which I didn't really end up using. I use the shield a lot.
Yeah.
That was the one I used because I'm like, if I enter a battle, I'm just going to get one shot.
You have to use it. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
It's
And
interesting
even
to hear on normal that it was like that too.
I was just getting fucked, and then I was like, "This, I'm not having fun." Then I pumped it down, and then I was like, another thing I was getting to. I'm like, "Am I under level? What's going on?" And that's why I asked you. I'm like, "Where are you, and what level are you at?" And then when you were like in comparable spots to me, I was like, "Well, then what am I doing here?" I also felt like I hit the level cap like halfway through the game.
That I think when I'm telling you, I played so that 10 to 20 hours, I was level 30 and I felt the progression had just stopped and I felt like kind of bored.
Exactly.
But then again, Fallout 3, New Vegas also do these things.
Right, but-
and I don't remember it being like a big maybe in Fallout 3. But like I don't remember in New Vegas it really
I
being a
never
big
hit the
deal.
level cap in New Vegas.
Maybe that's why.
And that's probably part. And I'm playing on mine now. I'm at level 35 right now. And I think
What's
it
the
goes to
cap?
50,
60?
50 with all the DLC. But like, again, I feel like it's like I'm nearing the end. You know, it's like paced in a way of like where I've gotten enough XP to where I'm still gaining XP by the time I'm finishing the game.
Right.
I'm hitting the level cap
progression, yeah.
once I'm like almost there and finished. Whereas in this, it just felt like I'm like, wow, I feel like I hit that really quickly and really easily. And a lot of these enemies are giving me a lot of XP for killing them. A lot of these quests are almost leveling me once over easily, and I'm doing like a few of them. I don't know. I think that there probably was some balancing to be done there, and maybe up the level cap a little bit more. I think you might have been able to go a little bit higher. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like
Is there a new
le-
game plus in this?
No. There is definitely a reason to do multiple endings, and that's just because of like the paths you can take.
I do not like actually how you can't side with the Protectorate. You don't. So you have a like.
I thought that was interesting that the Protectorate. I didn't realize the Protectorate was not a faction.
They're like
you
the
could
bad guy,
align-
basically.
Yeah,
yeah, and that kind of annoyed me too.
Because
Even
with
with
Tristan being on your side, it seems like
I liked him a lot. Also,
Yeah.
I thought that was a very interesting character. I thought the companions in general, for the most part, were somewhat interesting to me.
Can I take us a step back
Please,
before we
yeah,
get
yeah,
too
yeah,
far?
yeah.
What did you think about your character customization? I was
Yeah.
basically leading to, did that impact your playthrough a lot? I made my character look like Black Canary, and I kind of ran her like Black Canary. And the only thing that was kind of like off for me was like my thing that like I chose like roustabout, which basically meant like you're just kind of here and you don't know how you got here. And I didn't really find any of the flavors to work with what I was trying to RP.
Right.
And I kind of just felt like every so often would be like, yeah, I'm just fucking here.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
that's what you would say. And I'd be like, all right, like whatever.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about character customization? Did you feel like who you were trying to be was impactful? What were you?
To a degree, I don't know. You know, you have those like background things that inspire different like dialogue options and things like that, but I didn't feel like those were coming up in like an awful lot. I played as just I don't even know what like the class would be. Just a regular, you know, woman, human, fucking protectorate woman. I don't even know what I would say that I was even really RPing at.
You were. Oh, you mean directorate or protectorate?
Protectorate. I'm sorry. And like who I sided with? I think I sided with. I don't remember actually. I should have went back and done my ending again because it has been a little bit. But again, I will say
know
the
you did.
role playing of it all.
You allied with both.
Yes, yeah, I did.
I was looking at your achievements.
I didn't feel like the role playing aspect was really even there that much for me in that respect. Like a lot of these games, I don't necessarily even like kind of think in that regard too. For some reason, I don't know. I kind of
some games enable you to do it very well.
Yeah,
Baldur's Gate is probably an example of
definitely.
But I think it's very difficult for a game to really encapsulate the role play.
Definitely
of it. Like
I think the customization itself was very
like
cool.
I'm sure in Fallout, like if I ever play Fallout New Vegas again, I would love to play a playthrough where it's like, okay, I got shot in the head, intelligence is like 1.
No, that's right.
But like
really
and like, is the game really gonna respond to me like that? I don't necessarily know. Oblivion sure as hell doesn't respond to your RP, but then again, it's an older game. I think it's like halfway. I think it does a good. At times it's good, but you kind of have to know. Also, it helps to know like what the game is. Can you RP like appropriately into this world?
Right.
Like not knowing exactly what's gonna happen and what you can do, kind of.
Right, and I guess
that a little bit.
I RP'd into like stealth. I thought the stealth system in general was much better.
Yeah,
in this.
I was stealth too.
So I like that a lot. But as far as like choosing a class and going with my play style, I was a bit more head on, and I did utilize the stealth when needed. But I put some money into that or points into stealth, and then I just kind of stopped because I need to focus on other things.
I got to a point in stealth where it's like I'm one-shotting people from behind in stealth. I don't need to invest any more points in this.
No, yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. What did you think about the way the story starts and sort of, I guess, the DeVries arc?
I like the setup, and I think it's a good little like kind of splash screen moment, that first whole mission of where you're going through it and kind of plays off some of your choices, and you have that one interaction with that one guard that I guess comes back later on as well.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was a strong opening.
Yes,
for sure.
I did
and it
too.
got me locked in. I was like, oh, let's do this. All right, yeah. What about you?
I liked it, and then I feel like the DeVries of it kind of like falls short.
Peters
like,
a little.
I got to her, I talked her down so she didn't kill anybody, and then she was able to drive the ship into the rift at
I think
the
that's
end,
exactly what happened to me, yeah.
Which were you able to talk down the console?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, I was not. Was he? Does he also?
I think he sacrificed it. He's like, oh, what about like the guy who took over?
So
right?
there's two options. You can either have to, your companion does it, you do it, DeVries does it, or the console does it, and you have different opportunities. Because like we had to kill the console because I couldn't persuade him.
Yeah.
But then DeVries was like, oh, I'll fly it. I'm like, oh, good.
I think I persuaded
Great.
him to do it. And then, but like DeVries also dies, if I remember correctly. I don't remember exactly how it goes. Again, I wish I did do the ending again before.
Yeah, I just thought like after you have that moment where you talk DeVries off the ledge, like she's like irrelevant, and I really didn't understand exactly what she was doing.
She just like was talking about how like they were doing some type of experiment with the Rift devices or like the drives, and then I don't know.
Yeah,
it gets a little lost in the sauce.
I think that's why I feel like the world wasn't meshing, because I feel like I didn't really understand exactly what was going on all the time.
There's a lot. And again, I think they're using a lot of kind of terms that we're not familiar with, so we have to acclimate with.
I don't know if I'd call it on that. I just didn't understand DeVries' motivation. Why was she...
She was apparently working for the Great Plan, right? That was the idea. She was like convinced by the order, and then like she had to stop the skip drive manufacturing for some reason, but then that ends up causing the rift. Does she mean to cause the rift?
No.
Right? The idea is that she's stopping those experiments because she believes it'll alter the Great Plan or like make it not happen. I don't specifically remember exactly why. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that like it's not,
it's a little convoluted.
It's not a factor of I wasn't paying attention. It's a factor that like it is a little convoluted, and I don't quite understand, because when you're being introduced to DeVries, you don't know who the Order is.
No.
So you don't really have any. I'm sure if I replay it, it's going to make a lot more sense knowing who the Order is and how they work.
Well, the Order's in the first game, right?
No.
Who is the priest though? The vicar.
It's not the Order.
I thought that was the same
when they
order.
reference law, I don't think that's the same thing.
Well, but what is vicar and like what is that guy? That's a different religious sect.
Is it the Order?
I thought it was. Hold on, let's see. It's Vicar Max, right, or something?
Yeah. I don't think so. I because they do say like by law and stuff like that, and they said that.
Yeah,
in the
of course,
first one.
but that's like, and that's because they don't really believe in God anymore.
I thought there was right. It was just like, oh, it's just like God. But yeah, I never thought about
He is a vicar of the Order of the Scientific Inquiry. So is that different from?
Yeah. The Order of the Ascendant is it what it is in?
I see. So it's just. I wonder if it's like another.
So is it like Catholicism to Christianity, or like
I guess so,
being a Presbyterian? Like it's all kind of like coming from the same base, but they're a little bit different in the way they practice and stuff like that.
Right. I think that's exactly what it is.
See,
there's a lot here.
And I would say, is that a mistake to name them something so similar?
Right. To just make me think that it's because that's what I actually just assumed. I was like, oh, it's
good
probably part
assumption.
of the same thing.
Let's go back and talk about the companions.
Yeah.
Who I think a lot were hits.
Yeah.
A lot were misses, and you missed.
I missed
one. Of the
one.
misses,
Yeah.
Aza. Yeah. She is with the Well, yeah. Let me just start with her real quick. She's with that what's the fucking. What are they called? The bandit faction that you run into a few times.
Oh yeah, they're dressed in like weird masks and stuff like that.
Yes,
and top hats and everything.
So
they're on that one station.
Yeah, I gotta find out their name. It's gonna bug the shit out of me. So you find out that that faction is Glorious Dawn. The Glorious Dawn is created by the Protectorate to like essentially like further their goals. For them to have like a scapegoat.
Right, like a bad guy. Right.
Yeah. And Aza is a part of that Protectorate ploy. She's basically somebody who was born in the Protectorate and her parents die, and she basically gets adopted by the scientist who puts her in this position of power in the Glorious Dawn, kind of brainwashes her and creates the Glorious Dawn. Sounds cool, but she is a protagonist. I like to kill. Stab.
Like
That's her personality.
That's it, yeah.
And I like her design. I like her look, but I felt she felt flat.
What's her name again?
Aza, A-Z-A. So she is on Golden Ridge. She is in like one of the buildings there.
Huh.
And I could understand why you missed her. I kind of missed her on my way to one of those main points.
She's cool design, I gotta say. She looks cool.
Yeah. But Tristan, I liked a lot.
I did too. I didn't expect to like him as much as I did. He's a Protectorate soldier. He's like a bit. He's very much the classical kind of brainwashed. Like the Protectorate's always right, but he's a little bit better. He's better than everyone, just enough to actually listen to you and give you the time of day, and then you end up becoming close to him. And I think it's an interesting journey of him like going through his acceptance of like maybe the Protectorate is kind of shitty after being raised in it for so many years, but he doesn't want to give up on it. It's his home.
Yeah,
it's his
he's
life.
an arbiter, and it's basically like he's kind of like a
judge, jury,
a
executioner.
Another like layer of cop.
Right.
He's like a higher tiered cop.
He's like a judge, like from
exactly. Yeah. And I like his quest. Did you do everyone's quest?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. So I like with Tristan how you go to the mental refreshment. Well, I don't think it's actually a part of his.
No, you just find that random. Like I think that's just random. Like you go to it's part of a different quest line, anyways.
Yeah. When you go, you have to go check out mental refreshment, and you find the leader of the Protectorate just like totally zonked out of his mind. And you're like, wow.
And you find him before. I think you can find him before like they make the announcement of like I'm taking over as the new for the Protectorate while he's in custody or whatever. But no, that was an interesting moment. Did you go through the whole mental refreshment, or did you lockpick around it?
I think I lockpicked around it
because there's like a kiosk and there's a door.
No. I went down as like a person getting refreshed. Yes.
Yeah, no, I like went around it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like just while we're talking about the console, terrible villain because we don't really see him. I'm like, I hear about him, but then like you don't see him until literally the end of the game. Like he means nothing to me.
Right, exactly. He's just talked about.
Yeah.
And then even the Protectorate in general.
I didn't really like the way they did that.
Protectorate general is weird because it's like they have all these robots that apparently do all the manual labor for them, but they still like do some work, and then they have the mental refreshment thing where it's like you need to keep them in line. It's an interesting kind of idea,
and they're also at war with Annie's Choice,
right? Who just invaded out of nowhere. Again, a lot going on. It's not as like easy as we can surmise a different RP. Skyrim, you're the Dragonborn. You got to defeat Alduin. You got to take down a bunch of fucking dragons. Do it. Okay, done. This, it's like okay. It's DeVries, and she's trying to stop the rifts, but then we're also
trying to stop the rifts. But
we also
there was a 10-year time jump. Niles got fucked up. He's still looking for us. He finds us. It's been 10 years. What's the Earth Directorate? Why are we doing this?
Right.
We're just following orders from 10 years ago.
They don't even know if the director's still around by the end, right? Again, it becomes that thing of like, we're not hearing from Earth again. It's like,
but then in one of the endings, like Niles becomes the leader of it for me.
oh,
he became the leader of it
interesting.
for me, and I'm
so
like,
then they are around. Okay,
but then I'm sitting here like, and I'm like, wait, like, but why don't we still understand like what they are?
well, so the Earth, what I understood is the Earth Directorate is there to invade and stop a bad system from continuing to if a government is like taken over and is being, crazy, or why am I not thinking of the word? A tyrannical government takes over or corporatism goes too far. They're supposed to come in and stop it. They're supposed to be like the arbiters for all the different Earth colonies. But you end up finding out they have a deal with Arcadia about the skip drives where they don't have to come in or they won't come in because they're the only ones that can manufacture them. And they can't break them open or something. Like they could look inside them, but they're locked away in some way. I don't know. Again, too much going on, and I'm losing myself already trying to talk about it.
Yeah, it's not spelled out well.
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
It's just a little too jumbled.
I'm muddled on a lot of things.
I am too.
I don't really want to be. But yeah, how did you like Niles as a companion?
I thought he was fine. I think he's like interesting in the way of like he is the Earth Directorate guy. He is the by the books man. He's like, we need to do this because corporatism's run amok and all that stuff. And you see that kind of conflict with him and who's the Auntie's Choice woman? Inez. Like I think some of those back.
I
and forth
really
stuff
liked her.
She annoyed me by the end. I just was like, shut up. I don't. Really? A lot of them. I don't know. It's interesting to me that Obsidian really kind of locks in on this like companion style of RPG. Like you need your companions with you to really kind of get the full experience because they'll give you maybe some dialogue choice and all that. I will admit though, I was kind of hoping for some type of system where it's like they can use in Fallout 4, if you have fucking what's his name, the detective with you, he can open a computer for you or something like that.
Nick Valentine.
Yeah, he could. They have kind of certain abilities. They can lockpick something. I would love to see something more like that, other than just like they're there to shoot and maybe come in on a dialogue option here and there. I don't know. They just feel like they're almost kind of forced upon me in a weird way. I really wish I didn't have to use them, but I feel like I feel like if I'm not, I'm missing something.
I 100% agree. Yeah, like if I was doing an order quest, okay, I want to bring Marisol, who I kind of liked and I kind of disliked.
Same.
At the same time, I'm like, yeah. I like how you're like this black op secret agent, but you're just like, kind of that's it. Yeah, like you're actually a bit one note,
right?
And it's not really that interesting. I didn't actually find her companion quest all that interesting either.
I agree.
Who else?
It was like the little universe one.
The Valerie robot I liked. I liked Valerie as a from a gameplay perspective because I needed a lot of healing and stuff like that. So Inez and Valerie were pretty good. And I like the way you can customize companions. It's usually like one of two options, but I found the options like somewhat compelling and like, okay, like this is the option that makes this person this or this. So like I like how you can like switch it in. There's not too much you can do, but there's choice.
There's a little bit there.
Yeah, this is the second time Outer Worlds has done a robot companion. It almost feels like a waste because it's like this companion is not going to have that much personality. It's kind of like that robot in Starfield too.
Yeah, but even that, like,
I forget what the robot's called in Starfield.
I can't remember either. But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't necessarily hate that, and I guess when you get to like Starfield, there's so many companions in that where it's like, yeah, I like having it's cool to just have like a utilitarian robot that comes around with me. Whereas in this, you only have like the 5, and yeah, you are taking up a spot with that where he doesn't even really have like a companion quest of any kind.
Yeah, everyone is faction allied.
Yeah.
You know, the one for each faction, pretty much. I think we named them all. I don't think we're missing anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think everything about this game, though, you said it earlier, but I didn't say it, is better than the first one.
Definitely.
Every system is improved upon. But again, it could be better.
One caveat there. One thing that has not improved at all.
The menus.
Awful.
Thank you, Trio.
Seriously awful. Seriously
awful.
terrible. I don't know what they're thinking.
Thank you, Trio.
I
almost forgot.
The fucking map itself is so bad. I'm trying to lock in on things and it's
clip.
doing other things. Yeah. I'm trying to like pinpoint on something to fast travel, but it's hitting the thing next to it. There's not a good like sense of like me moving around the map. I hate it. Also, I'm sick of these zones. I'm sick of the zones. I'm sick of going back and forth between them.
And speaking of the
they're
zones,
pretty empty.
the maps.
The map. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. The maps themselves are like. I liked how different
not
looking they are.
actually the zones, but like the map.
The physical map. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like I'm trying to lock on to something like it's set up in such an awful way, and then it's just so. Like, all right, I see these building blocks on the map, like the buildings that are obviously on the map. I go to them. That's all I got to discover. There's really not much in the way. This isn't Fallout in space,
pushing
like in the way
me any direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that sense of exploration you get in those Bethesda style RPGs are not. And
the menu deterred me from messing with the upgrades more.
I didn't understand the fucking your medical thing at all. I didn't really understand
it's
how
just like there's different inserts, but I couldn't really like see much of a difference between a lot of them.
Same.
And I did forgetting about the inhaler.
Yeah.
But yeah, the menus and the way like the upgrading system work in that menu, I wanted to fuck around with it, but like I didn't. Also at the same time, it's like, okay, to buy upgrades, you don't buy the recipe, you buy the actual upgrade,
and then you put that.
You buy both.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, so you get the recipe, and then you make one upgrade, and then you use that upgrade to slot into something.
No, when you buy it from a store, you buy one of them and the recipe.
I see.
Which made
but then you can make more, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, yeah.
But like you get one when you buy it, and I'm like, well, I just want to like craft it. You know, like I'm not
right. You don't want to just buy. You just want to buy the recipe, so you don't have to keep right,
and then craft it. It feels like you're kind of like taking the fun out of like the purpose of like buying the recipes.
Yeah,
because it's like, okay, I'm using like the N-ray scythe, that ended up being one of my great weapons. I love the melee weapons, the shotgun hammer. There were some really cool melee weapons.
Feels good too. I got
the weapons feel awesome. I really liked all of them. Friend of the show, Matt Penza, he played Outer World 1 and he said he didn't like it. And I remember he asked us, is like, let me know how the weapons feel. And I have to admit, the weapons do feel really powerful and punchy and unique. They all feel very different from one another. There's some returning ones like the scythe.
Right.
But like, yeah, I got the N-ray scythe and I'm like, okay, I got to find like a grip for it. And I could like, and I'm like, I can't find a store that like sells the scythe grips or anything like that. Like some of the melee weapons end up getting later down the line too. Like when you're in the archive and you get the computer opens the display cases for you.
Yeah.
One of the melee weapons in there. I never upgraded it because I'm like, I don't know where to get
that.
I don't know where to buy it. Like
right,
I'm like,
right.
yeah.
That's tough.
So yeah, I like the menus suck for sure, and I liked the upgrading system, but the menus inhibited it from being a better experience.
Even like the quest menu and stuff, I'm trying to like read through it, and
right.
I'm just like, it's just
like,
not
what do I have on each planet?
Out.
Like,
yeah.
I don't fucking know. Like, I guess I'll just figure it out when I get there.
And I do just want to get back the zones. I think visually they are very distinct, and I like the way they look. You have like this Arctic one. You have like a nighttime kind of rocky, moonish type area with like a wild skybox.
Yeah.
They look visually cool, but like. There's a disconnect, and like people complain about fast traveling in fucking Starfield. Jesus Christ, I'm doing it just as much in this, if not more, because I have to keep going back to these different areas, and then I'm traveling to these different. Like I don't know. I really did not like the way the map's set up, and I don't know how it makes it easier for that. Like I heard them talk about in an interview. They're like, "Well, it makes us easier to pace things out and all that stuff," and I'm like, "Get good." Kingdom Come Deliverance is like they have 2 zones in that. Which is fine.
Right, and they mostly both kind of look the same.
They mostly kind of look the same, but also they're very meaty. Like, it feels like it feels like one large zone that is split into 2.
I'd rather prefer that.
And you're sticking in the one zone for the first half and then going to the next zone for the last half. You're not really trekking back. So, I don't know. I did see, I brought it up before. I don't know if it was the game director or what, over at Workhorse for KCD, put out like a review of this. And talking about
Warhorse.
What did I say? Workhorse. And he was just talking about like how he feels like this company can probably do more. He's like, and then people are building up like, and they do say stuff in the comments to him. They're like, well, what about budget and this stuff? And he's like, well, look at the game we made. Like when you do look at something like Kingdom Come Deliverance and what that was made on and for what budget they have and for how many people they have and for how many systems and different ideas they packed into that game, it does make me look at like an age-old studio like Obsidian and be like, guys, what are we doing here? One system we did forget to talk about, the negative effects. What is that called?
Oh yeah, the flaws.
That was one of the coolest things to me in the game.
Yeah.
I like those ideas a lot.
You got a lot of them in the beginning, but I did get a few like towards the end.
I was
going
gonna
to
say I was starting to still get some.
They were paced out pretty well.
I got one. It was for skipping through dialogue too much. It was like we noticed that you like to skip through dialogue, and I can't remember what the exact flaw. I didn't take it because it was like you might just. I think it was like it chooses randomly. A dialogue option for you, but I like the flaws. I like them a lot.
Yeah. I used one that ended up doubling my ammunition and stuff like that. Like I ended up doubling down on 2 perks that were doubling your clip size. So like my clip sizes were like tripled.
The bad knees one I was seeing a lot. I got that too. That one's fun.
I didn't use that.
Yeah, no, that was one of the more interesting systems.
I can't remember which ones I picked off the top of my head, but I did pick a lot of them. I did shoot, and like some of them were like, okay, I'm sneaking, like the knees thing. Okay,
see that I was fine with because it's like I won't like its own. It's like your knees crack when you get up and down from sneaking, and it makes a noise.
Is it every time?
Every time, as you go down and up. Yeah, and I liked it because
it adds a lot of flavor.
It does. It does.
And then there's the one where it's like, okay, you can take all the flaws right now.
Right.
And this is gonna fuck you up. Like this is not gonna be easy. I'm surprised there isn't an achievement for that. I don't know what
I would have assumed.
I don't know what triggers all the flaws, but yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't know actually. I'd be curious. There's probably something you could look up, but I'm trying to think anything else here.
So we were just talking about siding with we both sided with both. We ended up making the order and anti-choice work together. You do get locked out of quests from doing that.
Interesting.
So if you side with anti-choice, there's more anti-choice related quests. Because I looked at an achievement and it's like finish anti-choice quests, finish the order quests. And I looked up, if you ally yourself with both, you lock yourself out
of the endings for respectives. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like that's something to go back to and explore. But I found the ending like,
right.
Great. We're done.
I don't fully understand what happened, but yeah, that's the end. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, they
close all the rifts, right? Yeah.
That's it.
But how do they do it again?
They crash the ship into it.
Why does that do that?
It has the what your rift modulator is. Right. There's a bigger version of it on that protectorate ship.
Got it.
And they crash the ship into it, which modulates the rift.
And then what does
the
protector doesn't want to do that? Why? Like we're gonna
say it again.
So. What? That's the thing. Like, I guess, like, why? And the protectorate wasn't going to do that. Like the bad guy wasn't going to close the rifts.
I think they thought it was going to do something differently.
Oh, got it. So they didn't. Okay, right. Okay, all right. I see. Sort of. Maybe I have to go back and replay this.
Again.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to watch other reviews and. I remember Mr. Matty Play saying like the ending kind of lost him for him. What actually the moment that killed me was the archive part. That part was so long, and I wasn't expecting this, big like underground part. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, this is a bit too much.
I will admit, I felt like I ran through that relatively quickly. I didn't think there was.
I did too, but it was just like I don't want to run through it.
Right.
I want to just go through it and not be like, all right.
I feel like you want to just get it done.
I kind of want to get this done. I didn't get all the achievements, obviously. I got a decent amount of them, and I started like. There's a lot of achievements based on like some of the shrink ray. Get the shrink ray, shrink them down, run them over.
Right.
Use the big, like the mini nuke launcher thing. Kill 5 enemies with that. Things like that. There were a lot of achievements around. It doesn't look like a hard list, so I'll go back to it eventually. I didn't. So when I beat the Outer Worlds 1, I didn't return to the game until like early COVID, like one of the first few weeks of COVID. I went back to it, and then all the DLCs came back, and I went back to it again to do the DLCs. So I don't know. I'm kind of okay with letting games sit for a while. I need to learn to not just try to power through games after beating it, just to platinum it. Like even with like Delta, I could have easily went through that just to get the Foxhound rank, and I'm like, I'll just leave it for later.
Right. There's something
I want to play it.
Something to get back to.
Yeah, there's other things to play. I think Anyway, I'm getting to something else. I think that about does it for me.
I think so too. Yeah.
It's a good RPG. It's not a great narrative game. I think there is something to enjoy out of it, but are we going to be talking about it in the same breath as Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? No.
Probably not. No. Sadly not. And I will give him credit for exploring a flavor of humor that I haven't seen in a while. There were some genuine times where I was chuckling in this. it reminded me a lot of like Futurama in many ways, even when it comes down to the design.
It is
Auntie
smoking,
Cleo specifically.
It's smoking another different
Definitely.
kind of drug. Like, yeah, it's interesting.
But like Auntie Cleo specifically, like she's mom. That's Mom Corp. Have you seen seen Futurama, right? Yeah, like the big she looks like very nice and cuddly, but she's really just an awful person.
Did you talk to Amos on the Undisputed Claim?
Yeah, I didn't. That's the guy. So
He's
that's
the Secret
that's
Levels.
Mom from the Secret Levels episode, right? Don't they create Auntie Cleo in that? Or like doesn't his friend become Auntie Cleo or something? Right?
He talks about that.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I thought it was a very cool inclusion.
Yeah.
That you talk to Amos, and he doesn't really recap the episode, but he recaps his relationship with the person who would end up become the current Auntie Cleo.
Yeah. And the Auntie Cleo is like a moniker.
I
Like
did not see her just being a head comic.
I didn't see it.
I was like,
that's the stuff I liked. And then you get her the robot body. It's cool.
yeah,
I like that
but
a lot.
And yeah, she's with you at the end. But I felt like the robot body, like, thanks.
Well, but that's a quest line I liked. I was like, oh, that's cool and fun, and like we got her this robot body, and now that'll probably, yeah, you're right. Like, does it come back in a major way? No, but she's there in her body.
I did like interacting with the Primarch of the, I think that's what's matriarch, the matriarch of the Order. I liked her a lot, and I liked making them like kind of work together and like, okay, we'll give Auntie Cleo's this, but Order, you got to do this, and like you kind of like can compromise, and I thought that was really cool. But like I didn't feel like the alliance ended up really like making me feel very good about the choice. Not that I would have made a different choice, but like I was like, oh yeah, this was the best way.
Right. It's the spacer's choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like finding that guy in the jail cell.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
That was cool.
I do like that. It is interesting how they did kind of throw that company out, because that is like the Moon Man is he's still on the box. The
main menu.
Yeah, the main menu. How did you feel about after that?
Two minds of it.
Yeah.
I like it. It's very unique.
It is.
But it's a literal dialogue menu.
Yeah, and there's not much going on. So
Yeah.
I'm in between. I'm right there with you. I like it in theory.
Yeah, I like how you load up the game. He comments onto what you're doing.
Right.
He can comment actually to like a lot of different things.
Right.
And he's dressed who you ally with. Like he was in an Order garb.
Well,
for
I
me
think it
most of the
changes.
time.
I think it's changes what depending on what
Your
planet
faction
you're
rebel?
on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the background will be like not Pandora. What's the what I'm talking about? The
Praetor
or whatever you're
Cloister,
on, right? Yeah, Golden
Ridge.
Ridge, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's what changes it. And then like when you're in Golden Ridge, he's dressed as an Order, and then or whatever, vice versa. You know what I mean?
I would like to look up like just actually what he can do and how much he can do.
Yeah.
Like go on like the wiki or something like that. I'm sure somebody has documented all that or figured all that out.
Definitely.
But anyway, yeah.
Solid RPG. So like, and I do
Yeah.
that I feel like we sound a little negative, but I think that's just because
I
it comes
think-
from the potential that I would like to see Obsidian, achieve.
Exactly. And like, Grounded 2 is that out?
Yes.
So
They've had 3 games this year.
Yeah.
That is wild.
yeah,
And
so
Avowed wasn't
like
very good.
now whatever they have, like I'm curious, like when the Xbox acquisition happened and like how much of this was started before that. I think we're definitely in the clear of everything they're working on now has been started post acquisition from Xbox. Right. I mean, there are a lot of problems with Xbox right now. I'm not really sure how Obsidian fits into that necessarily. I don't really think it necessarily matters about how bad Xbox is right now. Like I think Obsidian is still going to do what they're going to do.
I mean, when it comes to the gaming industry, you just don't know. Like you could put out a game that sells 1 million copies or what have you, and then they'll close you down in 2 months. And that's not just Microsoft, by the way.
No, I know.
That's anyone. Like that's just the way it is. So I really don't know. I think they're safe. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna get whatever their next like, dude. It would be cool if they were given the reins on another Fallout game, but I'm like, do they have the chops to do a new Fallout game?
I don't know.
I don't know, honestly. Even like with the writing in this, I don't know. And again, that comes back to, is it rose-colored glasses? Is New Vegas as well written as I feel like it is looking back? And I don't know. I feel like it kind of is. Anywho, Gooch, anything else for the Outer Worlds?
No.
Alrighty. Well, thank you all so much for watching with us live. If you've been with us on live on Twitch or YouTube, we really do appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search our name on your service of choice. We got a Facebook page, a Discord channel, all that good stuff will be linked down below. You can email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We're happy to get back to you. You can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. Did I mention social medias? At Delco Nerds and everything with an @ Thank you all so much for watching. For Gooch, I've been Trio. We'll see you next time, guys. Stay nerdy. Bye-bye.